and welcome back. I am Bahamut, your caster, and we have a few games on the plate this evening. We have right now a little scrim cast between Alaska and Lionspeed from the NGS series. And then after that, we are going to have an NGS series. We are going to have, and I should have marked this down way before I started my stream. But I will double check. It is a Division A game between Come Hat Me Bro versus Illusion Esports. So that will be at 7 Pacific Standard Time. But until then, we're going to have a couple of these little games here, and we'll have a little bit of fun. Going into Battlefield of Eternity here with Lionspeed on the left-hand side and, Alaska on the right. Alaska actually hovering and actually banning out the Greymane here. It's very interesting. The Immortal Burn makes sense to me, honestly. He's a strong hero. He as well as great in the fight. I realize my tip jar is a little bit off to the side. Let's go ahead and adjust that really quick. Cool. So, this draft. Overall, some of the things that we can see coming out of it is probably a focus on really high burst heroes that can do a lot of damage to the Immortals, like Vala, the Lunara. We often see Gul'dan here as well. There's a lot of really good burst heroes for that. Greymane being one of them. So it's interesting to me that Alaska's going to ban that out right at the start here. But either way, this is interesting. I like this. I'm actually going to ban out the Kel'Thuzad here. Okay. I like that. It's a strong, solid ban. If you don't want to play up against it, it's definitely something that you don't have to deal with, and there's the actual priority in the Vala. Now, I'm curious to see if there is actually going to be an Ariel play here, or if Lionspeed is going to try and steal this away, because the Ariel pick with the Vala would be extremely powerful. Now, Lionspeed, they can do, they have a lot of options here for the, at this point in the draft. Really, I mean, it's the start of their draft. They can really take it in any direction. But I was just going to talk about picking up the tank healer combination on this map. It is pretty good, and they went ahead and did that. So they got the Garish Rhaegar, and I really like those heroes together. It's a strong duo. Hi, Rag. How's it going, dude? Thank you. Hope you're doing well as well. Now, these next two slots, they're going to go for the ETC. The displacement's really good. The Mosh is also a wonderful talent choice. And even then, the stage dive you can pick up for that backline kind of drop-in. And they're actually going to go into a Malthael with that. So they're really going for the Immortal Burn on the side of Alaska. That's a really powerful draft that they've started out here. But we're going to go into our next ban phase before we finalize these hero selections. So, I mean, limiting the healer pool would probably be best on the side of Lionspeed. So banning something out like an Uther for the Divine Shield on the Malthael, or I was thinking Ariel, that would combo well into the Vala. But they're going to go ahead and make sure that they don't want to deal with the combination of the Divine Shield on the Tormented Souls, getting into that backline just, on some stacked members of Lionspeed. They just went ahead and got rid of that. Now, on the side of Alaska, what do you ban out here? I mean, it's definitely maybe something on the priority side of the Immortal, as well as solo laners are an option, and they're looking to kind of hover over this Falstead right now. It doesn't have to be the solo laner, but the Gust for the disengage is pretty powerful. His overall rotations that he can make around the map are pretty good, because Flight, while it is a global talent, it is a limited global talent, and the range for it is pretty good on this map. So that's definitely a good hero to ban out here. I'm just considering, I wonder, you know what, maybe they're going to go into the Dahaka themselves. That's what I was just about to say, like maybe you ban out the Dahaka, but they could go for, they don't technically have an offlaner at this point. They do have Malthael, who would be, your offlaner. But running him in the 4-man in the bottom lane would be pretty powerful. So we'll see. We'll see as this draft develops. Looks like, though, we are going to have another pick on the side of Lionspeed. definitely locking in either their solo laner or their hyper carry, or at least the hero that's going to do the immortal burn is definitely something they want to prioritize in this phase of their draft. Leaving it to the last spot, it's just a little bit more risky just in case the enemy team does end up somehow getting that hero that you need for either your solo lane or your immortal burn. They're going to go ahead and actually get the Lunara with the Tyrande here. Tyrande providing a lot of good damage onto the Immortal with the Huntress Mark. And Lunara just having extremely good damage as the game progresses and she scales with her poison damage. So that's a strong draft on the side of Lionspeed. Now, these last two slots, what are we going to be seeing from Alaska? They're going to need a healer. I honestly think they could either go into the Ariel here, or they could go into a Stukov. Stukov would be pretty powerful. The silence would be useful against the Tyrande here for the stuns heals. It would, it'd make Rhaegar's life a little bit harder. The Failing Swipe does provide a good disengage in case the Garrosh does go in deep and gets a toss. There's the Stukov. Now, what are they going to be? Interesting. Solo healer, solo tank, triple assassin. I like this. This isn't, we don't often see, the solo healer, solo tank, and just this. This is a lot of damage on the side of Alaska. So, what do they respond in kind with? Malthael, being the solo laner, is going to be going up against the Artanis, and so this is the one thing I was just about to talk about. They're going to be going for a solo laner here. They might want to prioritize someone who is good in the solo lane and doesn't have a high health pool that goes up against a Malthael. And unfortunately, the Artanis it works well for this map. The blinds are there and they're going to be pretty useful. But at the same time, going up against the Malthael is going to be a little bit difficult. Oh, thank you so much, Murda. But here we go into our game here. On the left-hand side, we have Seattle on Rhaegar. Oh, I kept saying this before the game even started. Boziguus. There we go. On Artanis, Varcheesi's on Garrosh, Big Wiz on Tyrande, and Azuki on Lunar. That is Lionspeed. On the right-hand side, we have Sierras on Malthael, Bubble This on ETC, Rexpa on Vala, Hedgie on Li Ming, and Varen on Stukov. That is Alaska. And once again, hi to everybody in Twitch chat. Thank you so much for coming by, Rag and Murda. And also thank you again for the... Yeah, no, the Tesla stuff is really, really exciting. It's going to start on the week of October 1st, so... More and more content going to be coming out at your boy. I think like Thursdays we're going to be doing it on one stream, and then Saturdays we'll do it on another stream. So it'll be like, I think 4 or 5 hour blocks. Yeah, I think it's like 4 or 5 hour blocks. But either way, we are going to get into our matchup here. See some of these little first level talents, what we're going to be getting. Proc from the ETC. Hungering Arrow build from the Vala makes complete sense, especially in a map like this. We actually have Fear the Reaper from Malthael. Wondering what Big Wiz is going to be taking here. Will it be the Ranger or will it be the stacks? It looks like it's going to be the... Okay, so it'll be the Ranger stacks, not the Lunar Flare ones. Lunara, I'm assuming, will be taking her standardized level 1 talent. Or does she go for the cooldown for the wave clear? Well, we'll see as she picks it as this game progresses. But until then, we do have the majority of our action happening. We do have the natural perspective here. But it looks like we are just going to have a little bit of a wait down in this bottom lane. Just big. Everyone's just holding completely still at this point. They're just kind of waiting to see who kind of steps over the halfway mark first. Maybe looks like Varcheesi was trying to go in for a little bit of a pull there. Unfortunately, there wasn't anyone to get at max range. Now in top lane, just checking in really quickly, we do have Sierras going up against, we'll just say Bo for the game. It's gonna be a little bit shorter. And this matchup should be kind of going over on the side of Maltheo, but we will see as this game progresses. You know, the heroes are played a little bit differently. See, you know, skill ratings are a little bit different, so we'll see how this works out. We actually have the toss from Varchizi, but unfortunately it was only onto a minion. We do have a little bit of damage going out, and Garrosh taking a little bit here. Quickly peek back in the top lane. It does not slowly start. Bo's starting to slowly get pushed in a little bit here, but he will be able to kind of clear that back out. Looks like most of the teams will just be playing pretty safe here. The toss once again from Varchizi connecting onto a minion rather than a hero, unfortunately. And looks like we will be having this phase end, and the Immortals will be spawning with Alaska posturing up around theirs for the defense, it looks like. Now Lionspeed is going to be rotating into them to cross, you know, to try and get this damage out. We will have the zoning from the Stew cost a little bit here. There is actually a toss onto Rex, but he does have the dash out. The Winter Flare does not connect, but unfortunately the healing is not there in time from Varen. That will be the first kill going over to Lionspeed. Now, a few other members are going to be posturing up around this. Luckily, there was the pushback from the ETC to save Varen there. Does get another toss onto Hedgie. Will have the blink out. They are currently fighting under their Immortals, so they do have these stuns available just to kind of potentially lock down a few of the heroes even here and there. But unfortunately, there will be the dive from Seashell, and that will be going on to the ETC. He will be falling. That will be the second death. Now, it looks like Lionspeed will be winning over this first half of the Immortal phase, while Alaska looks like they burned it down just a little bit, kind of matching up, and they're posturing just to go ahead and burn these down, and it looks like that's what both teams are going to be doing in this time. And it looks like the burn will be won on the side of Lionspeed. So they're going to go ahead and confirm that. Now, we do have this camp actually being picked up before the Immortal, you know, triggered it away. So the rest of Alaska will be picking this up. This will push in the off lane for them. So this will kind of keep Artanis from pushing a little too hard. But the rest of the team will have to respond to this. ETC actually going up into that top lane. So they're defending without their tank here. They're going to utilize the gate pretty much as their tank. There is actually a potential throw onto Hedgie. Unfortunately, it was only onto the minion. Arteezy just trying to get that one throw. Varen doing an extremely good job of zoning most of the members away from kind of getting through this gate, getting too much damage out, while the rest of the members are burning down the Immortal here. They will get the well, and they do get a little bit of poison off from the Lunara, but it looks like they will be able to save their fort in the bottom lane. Not too much will be happening. Now, in the top lane, we had the ETC go up there, and he actually pushed up with this camp a little bit, burning a few more shots from those towers and just kind of weakening the defenses. He will be switching with the Maltheo, so we will have Sierras going back up there against Bo. Now, we do have this camp going over uncontested. They won't be able to kind of invade that, mostly because of the fact that they're down about a level. That's not the biggest deal, but also the fact that they're rotating their ETC and Maltheo. They didn't want to go into this fight a man down. Looks like we do have an orb coming out. Not too much going to be, just a lot of posturing, trying to push up with this minion wave and this camp while just kind of making sure that they actually get the minion wave up there. The one thing I didn't check was the in-game time for when the Immortal died, but I'm going to assume we've got probably another minute 15 or so till we see the next Immortal. So at this point, we're going to see Alaska trying to get towards their 7s, reclaim this bottom lane. Maltheo will be able to just kind of work in that top up against Artanis, and that will be kind of the redoless. That'll be a stalemate throughout the game unless maybe someone goes a little bit too far out of line, and there is a pick either way. You know, that matchup can go either way, realistically. But at this point, just Alaska doing a really good job of staying back, not taking the fight here. And it looks like Lionspeed is just going to do the exact same thing. They're going to get their minion wave. They're going to time out this camp with the Immortal as well. And since this one was picked over here on the side of Alaska, at the end of that one, they won't have that ready just yet. But Maltheo will sneak up here. Artanis will kind of sniff this out. Looks like he will leave, but will Artanis kind of take it over? That's the real question. Now, Maltheo's rotating in, so if they don't see the Artanis here, they know he's at the camp, and actually he will be leaving that right away just to go help his team. So we will have the Artanis rotating in at this point. We do actually have Li Ming going in the bottom, so Hedgie will be going ahead and clearing out that hard camp that they picked up right before this Immortal phase. And just a lot of the members are posturing around here, but they did see that the Li Ming was down there. They do get the stun out, but unfortunately, you see this Wolf barely just trying to escape, but unfortunately, he will not be able to get out. Now that with that pick, they will be able to aggress onto this Immortal quite heavily. Now that the Li Ming is back, though, they can get a little bit of poke damage out. ETC sliding in, Bubble this, trying to disrupt them from at least triggering this halfway marks. That way that at least they can get their Malthael back in place here. Vern using his lurking arm for just the zone here. Actually, there will be the flip from Varcheesi, but while he did that, he kind of isolated himself from his own team. There is the pustule spreading from Vern onto a few of the members, and it looks like they are kind of aggressing on for a potential fight here. They're actually going to back off, though. A few of the members falling a little bit low, but they are postured around the enemy Immortal. This is definitely, they could be a kill onto Varcheesi. The heal coming out. Malthael trying to get into that backline. Varcheesi falling so extremely low, but we actually have the Artanis falling here at the exact moment. That is one reset for the Li Ming, and there is another one being able to potentially chase down the Rhaegar. Unfortunately, that will not happen, but they go ahead and they swap right onto this Immortal and start to burn this down, sending Bubble this over to theirs just to make sure that there is the zoning so they don't burn it down and they get full value. And he actually comes back right away and says, you know what, I'm just going to zone for you guys down here. They're already bothering you. They're not going to go on ours. And that is that going to be the second Immortal going over to Alaska. Now, Lionspeed, they do have the slight, XP advantage here. At this point, if they do get a pick here before this Immortal phase does start, they could kind of turn this around. Now, this is a little bit stronger than the last one that came through, mostly because of the fact that the shielding's a little bit higher, as well as the fact that you have a later game, so the scaling of the damage is going to be in relation to how long the game's been. So, at range, he is going to be doing quite a significant amount of sieging to this gate. And they're going to go ahead and burn this down quite quickly, moving on to the fort. The zoning from Varen on that lurking arm is extremely powerful here, and this is definitely something they need to worry about. Taking quite a bit of damage. There will be the flip from Varcheesi, but Bubble this will be coming into the backline. CHL will be able to dive onto Bubble this, but will he be able to get out? There's the healing from the Stew Cup, but the flailing swipe actually ends up getting the kill onto the Garrus. They start to chase down the Tyrande, and she will be getting killed. That is another reset for Hedgie here. And they're going to be moving on to this keep front gate with a pretty much 3/4 Immortal. I don't know if they're going to be getting much more than the gate, but either way, they are getting quite a lot of sieging done with this Immortal. Meanwhile, though, I want to note, Artanis has been pushed back. Rhaegar actually falling here, and they could potentially move on a little bit further onto this keep. Nope, as the Immortal dies, they just say, you know what, we'll just back off here. It looks like they'll probably rotate down, get their camps, push out this bottom lane a little bit harder, maybe even go for a rotation of the top lane onto the Artanis here. That is a potential. Now, the one thing we did not talk about is the 10s. I apologize for that. Ancestral from the Rhaegar, the blind from the Artanis makes sense. Warlord's Challenge from Garrosh, and this is exactly what we were talking about. I mean, we have the ETC coming up here for a potential gank, and Artanis doesn't know, so he thinks it's still just, oh, he gets spotted there, so that he knows. We have the Starfall from the Tyrande, so that will definitely be a good tool to utilize with that Warlord's Challenge, as well as Lunara being able to use the Thornwood Vines for the poke damage. It's going to be extremely powerful. At the same time, though, we have Mosh Pit, Tormented Soul combination. We also have the Flailing Swipe from the Stukov, as we saw before, so it's definitely something that is going to be a good disengage, as we saw in that game. There was the potential for a kill onto the ETC, but the Flailing Swipe saved him at the last minute. Currently, though, we do have a little bit of a fight in bottom happening. We do have the ET sliding in for a 3-man Mosh. The cleanse is there from the Rhaegar. The Ancestor healing does connect onto Varcheesi, but he's actually going to be able to taunt a few of the members to pull in on Rex, but they will get the kill, but that is going to be the turnaround kill onto the Garrosh. Li Ming getting the reset that he needs. Unfortunately, they will not get the range for another one. So that's going to be a 1-for-1 trade at this point. Tank for Assassin. And at this point, honestly, I think the teams are just going to rotate away from each other and go for the camps. They're just going to try... Yep, they're going to pretty much time these out exactly together. The we do have a little bit of a... No, they're going to dive straight onto this. There is no defense currently from Lionspeed. Alaska just getting a little bit of free reign onto this Immortal, potentially pretty much burning it down to about half health, triggering the halfway phase. And meanwhile, they did have that Artanis in top lane, you know, clearing out the camp, and I think they just sacrificed that bottom camp, or that bottom fort, just to go ahead and get this Immortal. And they're going to go ahead and posture around theirs. Looks like they'll send the Rexpa into bottom lane to go ahead and clear. And so with that showing on map, they're going to go ahead and invade from Lionspeed. Vern using the Lurking Arm for that zoning once again. The Starfall will be there from the Tyrande. It's a little bit early though. Arteezy actually getting pulled away from a few of the members. There is a huge Warlord Challenge. Bubble this falling extremely low, but the Tormented Soul's going to break a few of the members apart here. Bo falling extremely low. That is Artanis going to be falling in this engagement. That is a reset for Hedgie here. Going to be getting that kill onto the Tyrande, which is another reset. Potentially a kill onto Azuki, but it won't be happening. A power slide though from the ETC going onto Varcheesi there, but unfortunately they will not get that follow-up damage. And this is going to be quite a powerful Immortal stacking up for Alaska. Now this is going to the top lane, so it does have to go through a fort, I believe, gate? Yeah. Which has been kind of won over equally by the Artanis, which was... Oh, they're saving... Why are they saving 200 health? Are they trying to get a pick before they do this? Because they're letting all of Lionspeed pretty much get back at this point. I'm going to pull this away here. We currently have... Okay. So they let... I don't know why they pulled everyone. I think they were... Oh, maybe they were just buying time for Hedgie in the bottom lane to clear, because that would be my assumption. Now, we do have a little bit of a fight here, but unfortunately... Nothing will be coming up, but I think the cleanse was used from the Rhaegar. They were trying to pull a few talents out from some of the members, but it looks like this will be a full 5-man rotation. No split pushing this round. They are definitely trying to push into that keep once again, but there's a huge pull onto Bubble Disc. They actually get the toss. He needs a complete disengage to swap out from Bo here. And they will be pulling himself away from few members of his own team. Now they are coming back up here. The Immortal is down the shields almost, but he still is attacking at range. Now he will move into melee status. We do have the Starfall coming out from the Tyrande. The blind is there as well from the Artanis, but unfortunately they can just kind of wait through the blind. It really wasn't able to save them. We do actually get the pull onto Bubble Disc. He does get challenged by the Warlord. We do have a huge Tormented Souls under a few members. Oh my god, just... A few of the members falling low here. We actually have the Artanis getting stunned out of his gate when he was going for the swap, but unfortunately there was no fortunately there was no follow-up damage. We actually see Big Wiz falling there at the last second to a Li Ming combo. And this will be the Immortal dying, but with 3 dead, are they going to aggress a little bit further? The swap does go out onto Baron. They do... Oh no, I think the failing swipe was used as well, but only 1 charge went off, I think. Which is just odd. Can you cancel it through? Interesting. Either way, that is going to be the bottom and top lane kind of pushed in quite a bit here. Now, at the same time, that last camp that they sent down this bottom lane before that Mortal phase was pretty powerful. It did get the fort, so it did push them out a little bit. But definitely, the delay that they put onto that Immortal, waiting for, I think it was Li Ming to clear up and push the bottom lane, was extremely powerful because of all those rangers that were stacked up into that bottom lane. Would have definitely been something extremely difficult for Alaska to deal with down the road as they were pushing with that Immortal. They would have had to send someone back to probably clear that lane. Now, we do currently have this camp being picked up, and they're going to start pushing up this bottom lane. Now, the question is, are they going to try and clear before dismount from the Tyrande with the Owl? And it looks like they're going to go ahead and clear this out before they actually... Are they going to... Excuse me for just jostling the camera there a little bit too far. It looks like they're just going to push up with this camp currently. Oh, okay, they're going to leave it. They are assumingly either... Well, no, they have 17 seconds, so they're definitely going to go for their camp at this point. On the side of Lionspeed, they definitely... It's 16, so it's even talent tiers. They have a level difference. The main thing that they need to consider at this point is... If they do take a fight, they need to try and take it underneath their Immortal. Anything else might be a little bit too risky. Unfortunately, though, this is kind of the aggressive posturing, so they actually back off and they just go ahead and just try for the burn before the next phase. But Alaska burning down the Immortal within seconds, seemingly. I mean, if you look at the ratios, about half the time. Now, they are postured up for this defense, and it looks like that's what they are going to do exactly now. View of the bird out there is a toss onto Varen here. There's a huge flailing swipe. There is a mosh pit, but unfortunately, Varen and Stukov will be falling here. There is the Tormented Souls going out, but unfortunately, they will not be able to get a kill. Now, there was the actual kill from Malthael onto the Rhaegar, so it's extremely powerful. But there is no healing for either of these teams at this point. Well, I guess there is with Tyrande, but huge resets coming out for Hedgie, getting a few of these kills. That is going to be Artanis falling here. Whew, Malthael, the entire team just cleaning up. I said Li Ming, but I peeked over and my glance was wrong. I thought I said Li Ming twice. It was also Vala as well. So Rexpa getting kills in there. But Sierra's, Hedgie, and Rexpa definitely just completely wiping out the enemy team towards the end of that last fight. And in the hero damage, I mean, you can definitely see and really it corresponds with the amount of fights that they've been winning in this situation. So strong showing from Alaska, but Lionspeed, they still have a defense for this situation. The team is fully back at this point. They do have the blind for the Artanis, so they can utilize that. At the start of this fight, they do get the pull in onto Hedgie, but unfortunately, they get the stun. The Warlord challenge is there. They actually blow up onto Hedgie as well. Sierra's falling extremely low. The Ancestral Healing does go out onto one of the members, and they actually get a turn kills here, and they could potentially save their goal. Oh no, this Immortal is way too much. GGs are called out, and it looks like the first game will be going over to Alaska. GG, well played. All right, and welcome back. We are just going to hang out here while we set up the next lobby really quick. I don't know. I checked all my audio settings before I started. Nothing is different than what I normally do, unless I go into a lower cadence. I've noticed it gets a little bit quiet, but it shouldn't be drastically different. But either way, thanks for stopping by. Some of these numbers throughout this game. Artanis doing 94,000 in siege damage. Definitely just that top lane stayed alive for so long. He did not allow Malthael to kind of win over against him, as I was saying that he would. But at the same time, when we look at some of these hero damages, the Lunara in comparison to the Li Ming, I mean, Azuki to Hedgie here, just not a huge difference, 3,000 in numbers, but just phenomenal play from just all the team members here. Excuse me, apologize for that. But otherwise, I'm trying to see. It doesn't look like I'm seeing anything too crazy here out of the ordinary. Nope. See. My thing is, like, I'm typically not, like, the biggest support player, so when I look at some of the talents, I'm like, that looks familiar, but I'm not sure. Overall, no. Just a phenomenal play from both teams. Absolutely wonderful game. We are going to go ahead and set up the next lobby here in a few minutes. I'm assuming they're going to be discussing between the captains of who's going to be taking first draft, who's going to be taking map picks, so they're definitely going to figure that out. Meanwhile, though, thanks for stopping by. If you are enjoying the stream, please hit that follow button. I really enjoy it. It really means a lot to me. If you actually miss any of these games or you enjoy them and you want to see more, there's VODs on my Twitch. There's also VODs on my YouTube. You can go to that page by hitting !YouTube in the Twitch chat. It'll take you right there. But once again, thank you so much for stopping by and watching these games. This is a little scrim cast between some NGS teams. And then we actually have an NGS game coming up in about an hour here. So even after these games, we definitely have a Division A matchup. Let me double check once again so I can say the names right. We have Come Happy Bro versus Illusion Esports. That's Division A at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Definitely do not want to miss that. Phenomenal plays, though. Absolutely wonderful plays. Absolutely, it's a blast to just stream some of these games, because my level of play is, I don't get to play with like a 5-man stack that we scrim and play with. So for me to like watch it and cast it is an absolute it's a joy for me. So Always glad when these teams allow me to cast their scrims for them. Okay. Just trying to check through my messages really quick, make sure I'm not missing anything important. Okay. All right. Well, otherwise, looks like we are all set. We just need to set up the lobby for the next game. We just got to wait for the teams to decide on what map they want to go into. And so until then, we are going to just hang out and we'll pass the time. Something that I should also note is that tomorrow night, I believe, let me also double check this before I say it. I'm 99% sure, but I might as well make sure once again. I have another stream tomorrow night at 6:45 Pacific Standard Time. That's going to be Alaska versus Misplaced Alts. And then after that, I think there's a Thursday Chair League game that I have casting. Otherwise, the schedule's pretty open, but I might be trying to snag other NGS games here and there throughout the week. So definitely keep an eye out for those. I'll try and post them to Twitter if I do snag a game. There's definitely place that you can check those out. It looks like I'm just checking. It looks like a few of the members I think are just restarting here. All right. Oh, cool. So they're in the lobby.
You could give the best.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Salty Derp Kid, for the follow. I appreciate that. Let me see if I can jump in here and be a jerk in the middle of while they're setting up the lobby. Oh, cool. It's all set. Everyone should be getting in here, and then they will pass off. Oh, and of course, as always, they have decided to swap sides on me. So give me 1 second while I swap the sides and update the team scores. Okay. All right. Looks like we are going to be going into Infernal Shrines. I love this map. This is a lot of good drafts come out on this map, and I'm glad we're going here. There's a lot of things you can go into. I mean, there's a lot of mages that we see priority. There's often very, very interesting solo laner picks that we see. Oh, I think people are just yelling out numbers because I usually hit 3 and then I hit wait 3 seconds before I start the game. So these people know. But I guess we're waiting at 5 and 7. Lionspeed here on the right hand side. They swapped sides on me, but I made sure to update everything and double check that. We actually see a hover on the Kel'Thuzad ban here. Actually, they're gonna potentially hover that ETC. It was pretty strong in that first game, and this looks like we might get a respect ban. I like that. That's a strong start to a game. Just take out the thing that you no longer want to deal with. Absolutely a smart idea. Actually, it looks like they're hovering the Dahaka. Now, Dahaka providing a lot of good global on this map is extremely powerful. So, that is not a bad idea in this first ban slot. Now, on the side of Alaska, what do you consider for your ban? They're going to answer right away and tell me it's Tassadar. Tassadar being really good for enabling auto attackers, as well as he has a really good shrine presence as well. So I absolutely love him in this ban slot. If they're not going to be taking him, making sure that they don't prioritize it themselves. Now this first pick on the side of Lionspeed, what do you go into? Do you pick up that Greymane for the clear? Do you pick up the Kel'Thuzad? Once again, the creepy skin. It's just his bottom jaw is so far out from where the front of his face is, so it throws me off. I just expect there to be top teeth, but there's none. It's just all bottom teeth. Anyways, in this 1-2 slot, do they go for the Ariel sustain on the shrine? That's the question. Or do they go for the zone? Now, you can take this later in the draft, as we saw with the Stukov in the last game. I tend to prioritize the healer in the beginning of the game. That's just my way of... I always think of the draft round. I think they're just so important for the team. But either way... with that Kel'Thuzad first pick, I wonder if it changes the draft at all. Because typically we see a lot of things like Greymane being prioritized in the early, Gul'dan, and it looks like actually they're going to prioritize that ETC Stukov. I like this. 2 heroes that we saw in the last game that were pretty... Well, I don't know how the exact word... I can't think of the exact word, but it's just... They were so important for the last game. I mean, there were so many situations where ETC got out because of the flailing swipe, as well as Stukov just getting out, and a few of the team members just getting out from the spreading of the pustule and him being able to activate that. So it's just a lot of good plays from both teams, but just that Stukov in that last game was it was a great play of the zoning. And we're actually going to have the Rhaegar once again from Lionspeed, and they're going to pick up the Sonya for the solo lane. Okay. Going into our ban phase here. There's either a priority on shrine clear melee, because I don't think they're gonna like hyper carry with a Kel'Thuzad. So do you consider the Greymane here? Do you consider the Malthael? They're not going to go into another mage, so you don't really need to worry about like a Gul'dan or anything here. But the other thing to consider is tanks. I mean, there's, that Garrosh was just annoying in the last game. Arthas is a contender on this map. He's absolutely phenomenal on the shrines himself. But what do they consider in this ban slot? This is definitely something that they are taking their time to think about. It's going to be Tyrael. I like that. Tyrael having a really good spot on this map because of the zoning that he does provide, especially post 16. Tyrael is an absolute nightmare to deal with the Holy Ground. I'm just curious to see like when Holy Ground gets baked into his kit or something, because it's like it's at the point where like I don't think I ever see a Tyrael not picking Holy Ground, because that's usually why like you get to that 16 point and you're just like, this is now how we just completely zone away their team from each other and we absolutely blow them up. But the Greymane hover here is not a bad idea at all. They don't really have a strong assassin for the shrine, so this Greymane definitely being the priority ban here is not a bad idea at all. I like this. This is some really, really good drafting from both these teams. The thing I consider here is, do they go into the mage territory, or are they going to go into the more ranged assassin? I'm curious because I don't know what they're going to be taking, because the Kael'thasad really banks on a lot of heroes grouping up, and so getting these shrines are just going to be so beneficial for them. Just really curious to see how they're going to respond to that. Typically, you actually... Ooh, okay. Leoric and Jaina. I like the Leoric because he has the ability to get into that backline with the Wraithwalk. And in the late game, him being able to Wraithwalk through heroes, providing less damage output, is going to be something that is going to hinder this team just horribly. And him going up against the Sonya is going to be a pretty good matchup. I really like how the draft is coming out from Alaska. Now, on the side of Lionspeed, they do have a lot of this blow up, and there isn't a whole lot for them to currently worry about. The Jaina, is going to be... actually, the Jaina throughout the game, as she's stacked, she's going to get real powerful into that late game. I was fiddling around with her like a couple days ago, and just... into the late game, if you're just still doing like the Ice Spear, the Ice Lance build, which I just want to test it out and see how it was affected from the changes, she's still like, the burst from her is absolutely devastating. So Jaina, something to worry about here. Now the Diablo Uther, I absolutely love this combination. Uther being able to provide that, I'm gonna assume this is gonna be a Divine Storm game. Locking a few of these heroes down, letting Kael'thasad really get damage output, maybe even a leap from Sonya. That would combo well into the Diablo Apocalypse. And what a Medivh? Okay, we have a Medivh this game. I like this. The Infernal Shrines Medivh is... the portal in, portal out is going to be really interesting. Because you can portal in and tomb. Oh god, there's so many horrible things to deal with. If they can set up, there's a lot of things that can just blow up Lionspeed. But either way, we're gonna get into this game and we'll see if those things can be achieved. On the left-hand side, we have Alaska with Sierras on Leoric, Bubble This on ETC, Hedgie on Medivh, Rexpa on Jaina, and Varen on Stukov. On the right-hand side, we have Lionspeed with Sietchel on Rhaegar, Azuki on Kael'thasad, Varchizi on Diablo, Boziguus on Sonya, and Big Wiz on Uther. Whew. Alrighty, though. Let's get into this matchup here. Talent-wise, we're not seeing anything too different so far. Ice Lance from Jaina. We actually have Blight Frost from the Kael'thasad.
The battle begins in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Nothing too out of the ordinary as we load into this game now. We do have the meetup in mid, it looks like here. So we have just the posturing at this point. Does not look like we will have anyone really going for too far of a kill. Hedgie will be able to scout out the enemy team, see where their positioning is, and looks like a few of the members will kind of posture maybe to get a little bit of poke damage out in those areas. Currently have the Sonya actually going up in the top lane, so it looks like we will have the Leoric rotating up there to go up against her. And currently we're just going to probably have this 4-man rotation between mid and bottom. Once this lane gets over closer to the gate, it looks like that's when we'll take advantage of it. We already have the ETC rotating into the bottom lane. And it looks like we are going to have... Oh, okay. I thought he was going to be clearing that out before the rotation came through, but it did not. He wasn't able to get there quick enough. But he does, you know, speed it up a little bit. And it looks like they'll go ahead and take advantage of these rotations. And by not doing them, they're kind of getting a little bit of the advantage of the map. Hedgie providing a lot of good poke and also vision for the team as these rotations are happening in real time, making sure that no one gets caught out of position, seeing where they are going to be rotating through. Typically it is through this midpoint if they are doing this, and it actually looks like they do get the pull onto a couple of people here that dive in from Vartizi onto Bubble. This will be able to power slide through the gate. Portal out from Hedgie will be actually getting the majority of the team coming through here. They are getting a bunch of damage onto Azuki here. The chain heal out from the Rhaegar. Vartizi trying to get in there, and it looks like Azuki will get away with like 70 health. A bunch of damage going out, and we currently have... Oh my god, just... like it was like 100 health, but at this point we will actually have the first shrine popping up into the bottom lane. It does not look like we will have anyone kind of getting too aggressive here. It looks like there's a little bit of Bozigu was taking a little bit of damage from Sierra's, but unfortunately that won't be yielding a kill. Now, just a lot of the teams posturing around the shrine at this point. Hedgie scouting out the entire enemy team, showing that they are here. There is technically the talent advantage for Lionspeed at this point, so they do have... well, no, it's evened out now. All the talents coming in on the right-hand side. You have Sierra coming in here, trying to get a little bit of slow out as well as skeletal defenders. We do have Yelkazad getting quite a bit of blight stacks from a few of these members, but the majority of Alaska has been burning him down. They actually get the kill onto him, and now there is Bozikius getting onto Varen. He will be able to get out. They will get the healing pushed off to quite a few members. The slide in from Bubble This. They get the kill onto the Uther. Now, Uther is still in ghost form, but unfortunately they get the kill onto Diablo. There are no souls. And they're going to go ahead, and it looks like they will start to clear up this shrine. Sonya already rotating into that mid just to push up that extra pressure and just keep that soak up, making sure that they're not going to fall behind because they're currently about a level difference. Varen using his lurking arm to clear up this shrine a little bit faster. We do have a rotation in from Baziguas into Azuki, but unfortunately they don't want to go in there just yet. They're going to let them get the Punisher. Looks like we have a rotation into top lane from the Sonya and Uther. They're going to try and push that lane up a little bit harder while 3 members defend in bottom. So this is going to be interesting. They actually have the Jaina rotate down here for the 5-man push. We actually have a portal in from a D. We have Bubble This going through right away. Just back and forth. Lyric already through, but uses the Wraithwalk to go back through his gate. Currently burning down this sidewall. They actually get the pull in and the Blight stacks for the Kel'Thuzad, who's actually at 13, but the power slide in from Bubble This will confirm the kill onto the Diablo once again. And just Bubble This setting up so many of these kills with that power slide is extremely powerful, and they actually get the portal into the back line. Azuki taking so much damage, they get the slide onto him, and that will be the kill. Rhaegar is able to finish out the Punisher here, but they just stay in the lane, and it looks like they will go ahead and actually burn down this fort. And they're going to rotate out of this lane and go ahead and pick up this camp, it looks like. Have that pushed into the mid. Wouldn't be too surprised for them to go and grab their own as well afterwards. Some danger pings coming out. Looks like a few of the members of Lionspeed do know that this is happening. They don't have the Medivh for the scouting currently, but they are using Jaina's ice picks to kind of get these little kind of vision areas. Rexpo will be hearthing back though currently just to fill up on mana because the next Punisher isn't too far away now. Currently just having top lane Baziguas and Sierra's just kind of hanging out, waiting for the lanes to hit mid, and then they go for the clear. We actually have Sonya going in on this hard camp in top lane. They're just probably going to be hoping for the next Immortal to be in the mid. That way this will push up, and they can kind of hope to get that top gate pushed down for the next Punish that will be in that lane. But it looks like Alaska will go ahead and rotate down here and pick up this camp, and they're creating a lot of lane pressure here. Lionspeed will have to react to this, but luckily they do have the camp and top pushing there, so they're going to have that as their advantage so they can start to make these rotations in these lanes. We actually have a dive onto Hedgie here. Portal out from him. He will be able to get through the gate. And unfortunately, they will not be able to get the kill onto him. Now there is about a level and a half difference, and the Immortals should be starting quite soon. And 10s are close on the side of Alaska, so if they do have this might just be a free shrine for them, especially if they get a potential pick here. Now this is in top lane, so this camp will be pushing up with Sonya. They are going to get a little bit of the shots out from the gate up here, so they won't be able... If they do lose this over, this is definitely going to be a little bit of a stronger push, but they do get the gate through, and a few of the members sliding out, and Bubble this once getting the power slide and knockback. That will set them up for that kill and push them into 10s. So we do have the rest of the team currently just pushing up into the lane with that kill under the Sonya. The rest of the team is also showing in a few of the other lanes, just trying to push up. They're going to go ahead and just kind of burn down these gates, open up the map for themselves into this later game. But at the same time, there's a flip onto Hedgie from Vartizi. There's a power slide from Bubble this. They do start to get a bit of damage onto him. There is the follow-up from Rexpa. Will they be able to? They will get the kill onto Diablo here. Meanwhile, the entire time, Leoric has been slowly hitting each of these minions, these skeletal defenders down, and they're going to go ahead and confirm this Punisher eventually. At the same time, Lionspeed has taken it upon themselves to push into this mid lane. They opened up the gate. Rhaegar looks like he's going to be kind of just walking this in, and they'll be meeting up into this top lane for the defense. We also have Rexpa going into the mid lane currently, just pushing this back, making sure that the lane isn't going to be stacking up too much. They actually have the satchel staying in lane. Trying to clear this back once again, but at the same time, this is their healer currently in mid. Now they do have Uther in top lane, so that is they do have a source of healing, but they are technically down a man in this fight. There is actually the jump onto the Sonya here. Blazigio is taking quite a bit of damage. Huge ley line seal onto three of the members. They follow up Ring of Frost right underneath. There is the Divine Shield onto the Kale Pizzad with so much damage at this time. They actually have the Sonya falling here, though, right at the beginning of this entire fight. Arteezy taking so much damage. The power slide from Bubble this will get the knockback and will confirm the kill. Meanwhile, the Punisher has just been having a blast punching this fort down, and they are going to go ahead and move on to this keep gate. Hedgie will be able to provide vision of the enemy team where they're currently staying. The portal does go in. They actually go through. Quite a bit of damage goes out into Azuki, and he will be blowing up and dying here. Now this Punisher is going to be falling. They take the portal back through, and it looks like they're going to burn down this gate, and I'm assuming going to back off from there. What an absolute... just... those portals in, when they go in, you don't want to be anywhere near where that portal spawns, because it seems to be lights out for whoever, comes... Whoever that portal's nearest, that's the person who tends to just kind of get one-shotted, it seems, by the 5-man. But it looks like we do have a rotation from the enemy team into that bottom lane. They're going to go ahead and clear that up. Start grabbing camps here. Now, they do have 13, so they can be a little bit aggressive here. They do have the vision from Hedgie, so they could potentially go into this camp. But with Rexpa in bottom, I don't think they're going to rotate him up quick enough, so they go ahead and give this over. They'll clear it back quite quickly. Meanwhile, they pick up their camp, so that will be a response to Lionspeed, but they actually try and take this aggressive move onto Rexpa here, trying to get so much damage out of it, and potentially could get the kill, which would swing the battle in their favor, but the Leyline seal out from Medivh. There's a huge Ring of Frost onto 3 of the members. They get so much follow-up damage. There's the silence onto a few of the members as well. They get the pull from the kill this out. The Divine Shield is out on to the Uther himself. Big was trying to stay alive. Vartizi taking so much damage, trying to protect the members of his team to get out of here. The Apocalypse comes out the last second. They get the stun onto Bubble this. The portal's out from Hedgie. They start to go in onto a few of these members. The Protect is out as well. They won't be able to chase these guys down, but at the same time, they got the kill, and they realistically delayed them from pushing out these lanes too far. Mid was kind of spawned but never pushed into. Top was really never addressed. So at the same time, these archers have been stacking up. They will be able to rotate into this in time. But at the same time, they went ahead, got this camp, and they are going to kind of have to split their assets here on this map. They're going to have to rotate a few of the people into the bottom lane. By the time that they're able to clear that out, Alaska will be postured for this shrine. So it's definitely something they need to consider going into this next fight, that They don't have the posturing. They're going into this fight completely blind, so they don't know where the team is going to be set up at. At the same time, though, they are playing extremely safe, and I absolutely love this. They don't have 13, so they're making sure that they're not going to be taking unnecessary damage, making sure that they're not going to get stagger at death. Just overall being prepared for, either they get the next Punisher or, they defend against the next Punisher. It's that kind of situation. It looks like they're going to have the Rhaegar in the bottom lane just trying to work towards those 13s. They currently have to deal, they will eventually have to deal with the hard camp in top lane. We do have a power slide out from Bubble. This a huge mosh pit onto two of the members. There's the follow-up Ring of Frost right underneath them. The D-Shield does go out onto the Sonya here, but the portal is there. Unfortunately, does not go through the gate. Sonya is able to go on, pull onto Hedgie here. Just really quickly, the one thing to note, Master Touch, I believe, is one of the only... Oh, there's another questing talent. Okay. I think I was about to say, Master Touch is the only questing talent that isn't done yet, and only one away. You have quite a bit of damage going on to Bubble. This Varcheesi getting so much damage out with that Apocalypse. The Protect does go out onto Varen here, but the Flailing Swipe is able to buy him some time to get a few. The members push back to Protect is there from Hedgie, but they do get the kill onto Stukov. Now, they are able to get a little bit of a turn in the situation. They are starting to win this over. At the same time, Alaska only needs a couple more stacks. Uther is in the top lane, so this is, it's a 3v4, but they can potentially go in for this poke. Unfortunately, okay, there is the ice block from Rexpa. He will be dove upon, unfortunately, though, and they do get the blow up. They only need another 10, so the question is, do they give this over, or are they going to potentially stagger more deaths here? Hedgie taking a significant amount of damage, the Protect going out. We do have Sears using his Wraith Walk to try and just mitigate some of that damage, because I believe he has the level 13 talent. So they're just trying to get just a few more of these, but unfortunately it will not happen. We actually have Ciaris falling here, and this will be the Punisher going over to Lionspeed. But at the same time, they have had stacked up archers in this top lane. Uther was able to defend this, but he did have to come back and make sure that his team got the healing that it needed for this next push. We do see Ciaris slowing down a few of the members. But this Punisher, this Arcane Punisher, mind you, that is extremely powerful and is extremely high on health. Now, at the same time, Alaska is just about back on all of their members. Protect is out from Hedgie, making sure Bubble Disc doesn't take too much damage. They do have 16, so they do technically have the talent tier advantage. They could go in for an extra fight. Just Ciaris using his Wraith Walk to make sure that people just get less damage out, so they just slows down this push. Huge Leyland Seal onto three of the members. The Ring of Frost is right underneath them. There's a mosh pit on top of that. Cleanses out, so they save Varcheesi here. The Apocalypse comes out as well. Three of the members will get stunned. There is actually a Divine Shield onto Varcheesi here, but ETC will get the power slide. The Ancestral does connect, but they are currently just body blocking them before they get through this gate, slowing them down so much. Varcheesi will be falling. Uther will be rotating away, making sure that he doesn't get picked off and staggering to death. That will be Diablo Stack's burn, so he no longer has souls for the next engagement to come back. He's already back in the 3 seconds. And I'm curious, are they going to be going for an invade on this camp? With the 2 dead, it looks like they go ahead and do that right away. They burn down this camp. They push up the lane with Rexpa here, and they're going to go ahead and try and kind of push onto this keep. Just create a lot of pressure around the map, making sure that Lionspeed has to respond, and they're doing the exact same thing. Varcheesi and Miz pushing this up a little bit here, making sure that the lanes are starting to go in their favor a little bit, and also just kind of get a little bit of this map control back. Sonya is going to be able to go ahead and burn down this camp quite quickly. They won't get too much value, but it does pull her away from the team, which is a valuable resource, making it so that this 5-man can make these rotations, pick up these camps easy as they want. So at this point, they've just been pretty much rotating around the map, just kind of clearing up, realistically, what they're going to be having to deal with during this next shrine phase. But also, at the same time, Alaska has created a decent amount of lane pressure, so we actually have, it looks like they're going for a bush party here. Varcheesi's, they're just gonna. The Diablo mount is so perfect, but Hedgie will go ahead and scatter it right away. It was so funny that Varcheesi went out and it's the crawling mount, so it looked like he was just sneaking to the next vent, to posture up. But currently we have camps pushing in almost every lane. So Alaska has postured themselves up. They have put a lot of lane pressure up very, very quickly here. But at the same time, Lionspeed, they have the majority of their team ready and available. They just need to get their Sonya into position for these this next engagement. Because the ultimates are up, but there's a huge backdoor leyline seal with a mosh. And the cleanse is there onto the Diablo right away. There's also the Divine Shield as well with 700 health. We do have quite a bit of damage going out here. Vartizi falling a little bit low. The Ancestral does connect onto him. Satchel will be hiding in this back area, just making sure he's in range for that Ancestral to hit. But Azuki getting pulled away from so many of the members of the team. They are just focusing him, and they will get that kill with the Jaina Ice Lance. Now we do have Vartizi taking quite a bit of damage with 500 health. He will be falling himself, and this is going to be Kael'Thuzad delaying this a little bit, trying to get a bunch of burst damage out, but there will be Bubble Disc getting into the backline, getting that pushback onto so many of the members. And it looks like they will just disengage at this point. Bottom has been pushing up this entire time. Mid's been just a stalemate since they did have the Sonya go back and clear. She will be able to clear this at this point, but at this time, Alaska will be getting this next Punisher, and they'll be probably achieving 20s quite close, honestly. If they split their assets correctly, they can get enough experience to potentially push into this keep with 20s available. Now, Lionspeed trying to mitigate that as quickly as possible by just laning up in bottom and mid to just try and get closer towards those 20s, those 19s, just fighting on even talent tiers as well as even levels. So the Punisher is up at this point. We should see the majority of the members backing off. Unfortunately, they will not be able to get 20s this quickly, and with the Punisher just, barreling down this lane, this is definitely, the make or break situation for Lionspeed in this game. We do have the jump over onto Big Wiz. They will be able to pull him over to this keep and gate that is a little bit more full. There is the Wraith Walk out from the Orc, so he will be able to just kind of mitigate some of that damage. The Flailing Swipe does go out from Varen. They get the pull together from onto the Bubble Disc. There is the jump onto a few of the members, actually. Sierra's getting a little bit of damage out as well. They're just posturing up behind this Immortal as much as they can, trying to get that 50% damage reduction. We actually have Vartizi going into Hedgie in the backline here, but there is another jump onto Bo here, who will be taking quite a bit of damage, but there is actually Varen taking quite a bit himself. The D-Shield goes out. There's a whiff Ring of Frost, but there's actually a mosh that gets interrupted at the exact moment, and we actually have Jaina and Stukov falling here to the Kael'Thuzad. We do have Leoric able to Wraith Walk out of here, potentially. And just so much damage at that point. Unfortunately, Vartizi is going to be saving Leoric there from getting blown up too bad. And with that huge Wraith Walk, he will be able to just walk right out of there. And so that is going to be two of the members falling here. They do defend their core against the 20s of Alaska, and that was extremely, extremely beneficial on the side of Lionspeed. At this point, they're going to go ahead and get some of their camps. They're going to create a lot of lane pressure, and I really like this from them. There's just this active, you know what, we won that over. We did a good job, good for us. Let's push up our lanes. Let's keep the momentum going in our favor. We're not going to, we're not going to, just let this advantage pass us. We're going to make sure that we take advantage of this, obviously. And Sonya's doing exactly that, going ahead and posturing up onto this camp. Right, there is a huge dive onto the ETC. Bubble This will take a ton of damage, and he will be falling here. Leoric could potentially be the next one to fall. Sierra's able to get out with that Wraith Walk, so they will have the ETC dead here for the next 52 seconds. And that will probably time out with the next Immortal phase here, but at the same time, Lionspeed, during this ETC death, they can't do too much on the side of Alaska, so they can just kind of play safe, push back their lanes at a decent distance. They can utilize Hedgie here for that extra vision, making sure that Sierras doesn't get rotated on here. The rest of the team looks like they're going to go ahead and clear out this bottom lane, and this is their best bet for a potential win here. Lionspeed could potentially get this next Immortal. Oh, it looks like they are going in on Sierras, but he just gets the Wraith Walk right out of there and says, no thanks, you know what? I don't want to stagger another death before this. But at the same time, Rexpa did get that camp in top, so they will be able to have that constant pressure up there. They'll have to send someone back eventually on the side of Lionspeed, but right now the priority will be the Shrine. And they definitely, if they can win this over, this is going to be about a 22-minute, 23-minute Immortal. So it's going to hit pretty hard. And mind you that, it's a Frozen Punisher too. So there's a lot of lockdown here, which Kael'Thuzad can really capitalize on. Now, ETC is back. There is a substantial amount of lane pressure. We have a huge combo going out onto a few of the members. There's a mosh onto 4 of the members. There's the tour bus out from Bubble This, and they just continue to get the damage out during this entire time. They get the 2 kills onto Rhaegar and Kael'Thuzad here. Does he have the ability to come back right away? I am not sure. We have Sierra getting onto a few of these members. Bozidjuas will be able to potentially spin out of here, but we have Diablo trying to get the kill onto Rex, but unfortunately will not be happening. The Protect from Hedgie will keep him safe, and they will be able to get that kill. He doesn't have souls to come back, and this is also, mind you that, during all that, they currently had this camp and these catapults pushing onto the core, so they will be losing shielding, a little bit of percentile health, but not too much. They actually, looks like they're just going to portal in and go straight for core. They're not even going to take the Punisher. They said, you know what, screw it. This is a little risky, but it looks like, okay, they're going to go ahead and get this. The GGs are thrown out. We will be ending this game. Laska taking the second game here. GG, well played.